Did Peterbot just call out Puyo for potentially macro cheating? We have a lot to talk about in today's video. I want to talk about some of the off-spawn situation between Peterbot and Puyo, including what happens today in Aussie Antics Solo Cup. Welcome to Stars though. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Please just go Kdog in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. Without further ado though, we have a lot of different tweets and clips to go over, so let's just get straight into this video. Alright, so I want to start this video off by showing a clip of what Clicks was actually talking about yesterday when he was talking about the Peterbot and Puyo off spawn fight. Then we will get a little bit more onto what happened between Peter and Puyo today, and then we'll just talk about like macroing in general and do I think this is an issue and what my actual opinion is on all of this stuff. So I want to show the Clicks clip first for you guys.
I might have just
Actually, bro, this makes me so
last
mad.
game.
I actually feel bad for Peter because, bro, Puyo just macros the on all that shit, bro. Like that's.
I think one of the top replies on this almost exactly summarizes what I'm trying to say. Basically, somebody said, love Puyo, but he 100% macros, always has. Back in Grim season, Puyo used to always get the gun before Peter, even when Peter was on 0 ping and Puyo was on 30, not counting when he was at the top of the chest, because that was guaranteed gun every single time. Agers actually ended up like posting a tweet pretty much summarizing what this guy was saying right here, so I want to show that clip too.
You have the worst props, bro. Let me get every gun real quick. Try and get the guns. You're not getting any of them. Come here.
Hold on.
Nice, Rob. Yeah, go on.
Alright.
Yeah, go.
Open it.
What? No!
And honestly, my opinions on this is I think a lot of the top pros honestly are macroing. If you guys don't know what macroing is, the direct definition from Google, it says, in Fortnite, macros are often used to simplify or automate repetitive actions, like things such as editing structures, which we used to see this a lot back in the day. If you remember like Serpent AU and stuff, used to have like the whole editing macro and everything, but nowadays is a lot more used. Essentially, a macro is a pre-programmed sequence of inputs that can be executed with a single button press. So pretty much most of the time, a pro is able to just simply click their mouse button and they will be able to pick up every single item that comes out of the chest, and that is the main use that we see from macros nowadays. Now, of course, neither Peterbot or Puyo would be trying to get the other one banned in a situation like this. They literally are like best friends. They live together. They probably plan on playing together next year, and I don't think there is any way that Fortnite is gonna ban anybody for using a macro, because it literally is almost impossible to detect, and there is probably just so many pros out there that are using macros. Like we literally even saw Peterbot in Aussie Antics chat after the off spawn fight happened saying macro LMAO. I think this does definitely pose an interesting question to the community though on if players are found to be using a macro, should they just be instantly banned, and should macros even be bannable in the first place? Pretty much the only real like actual useful use for macros nowadays is off spawn fighting and just being able to 50-50 chests. I think the main reason why a lot of people would argue that it's not fair, because I mean if they just said macros were allowed and everybody had a macro, then it would pretty much be like nobody has a macro. But the main difference is if you're on controller, I don't think there is any way you can get the type of macro that I'm pretty sure a lot of these pros are using. Once again, not trying to like directly call out any of these pros for cheating or anything. It's just if you're watching these tournaments, you do have to be a little suspicious after a while. Of course, I'm not trying to like directly accuse any pros of like using a macro or anything like that. There is no 100% way to prove if a pro is actually doing it unless you are literally like in their PC. But I want to get on to what Peterbot and Puyo were actually ended up beefing about. So Peterbot ended up tweeting out in the solo cup that they played today, guess who got the gun? And I want to show you guys the clip of them fighting off spawn, and then we'll show what actually Puyo responded with.
Who has the better job? We have a few people coming in though. Age is showing up to this one as well. Age in the mix. We've got about 6 teams here. If either of them make it out, it's going to be crazy. Pete has the best job by far, but loses the gun. There was a gun right there on the floor. Puyo grabs it.
So then Puyo responded and he says, everybody knows what you're on. Stop acting innocent, with a laughing emoji and a clown emoji. So obviously he's 100% implying that Peterbot also uses macros here. I think the main like super big example we ever saw of this was when Peterbot was actually fighting off spawn. I'll try to put a clip of it on the screen right here so you guys can see what I'm actually talking about. So even though like Peter is like full calling out Puyo here for like pickup macroing, he is nowhere near innocent in the situation either. Peter responded with some other screenshots of Puyo somehow being the one to get the gun first here, even though he was like the 3rd or 4th person to land at the actual chest, which is pretty insane. Puyo just responded with an image of him just fully out dropping Peter in the actual 3v3s that they did off spawn. I'm not even gonna lie though, just from watching this off spawn fight in general, Puyo has been absolutely dominating Peter off spawn, not only in trios like how they literally won 3-1 yesterday off spawn, but also today in solos. I'm pretty sure they went like like 1-1 even. I'll show some clips on the screen of what happened like one game when they ended up both dying to each other. But Puyo has looked like one of the best off spawn players in the game, not just because his drops are absolute heaters and because he's getting the gun first every time, but he has just been so skilled while fighting off spawn. I think that is why so many people were just so scared to fight the duo of Peterbot and Puyo last year, because I think Puyo was majorly outshined by Peterbot, not only in general but also off spawn fighting last year, because the rep that Peterbot has today for off spawn fighting was very much built up during his time with Puyo. But I don't think people also realize that Puyo was still probably the second best off spawn fighter in the entire region, and he might have been even closer to Peter than a lot of us thought at the time for off spawn fighting skill as well. I'm very curious how long they're actually going to drag this off spawn drama out, because if we're just being real right now, Puyo is putting absolute belt to Peter's trio and Peter just himself in general. I don't think anybody can say that Peterbot, Code, and Ritual have looked like the better off spawn fighting team in comparison to Puyo, Acorn, and Agers, just pretty much out of all of the fights that they have had up until this point. This is still currently Puyo's domain in my opinion. I think this would definitely hurt Peterbot's off spawn rep a lot more if he were to leave compared to Puyo's. Both of these teams already have land spots though, so they can pretty much go to any other drop spot they want. But I do think that this could potentially negatively impact Peterbot in the future when it comes to something like LAN, because you already know if these EU players like Doxy is seeing that Peter is struggling off spawn, and heck, even Puyo himself at this point, why would they just willingly give him the best POI completely uncontested when Globals Times actually comes around if they are seeing that he is not as dominant of an off spawn player as a lot of people might have thought? I think some more very interesting parts about this whole storyline is Acorn has always wanted to contest Peterbot off spawn, even going all the way back to like the Grim Gate season. I want to show you guys the clip of Acorn talking about how he wanted to contest Peter for that entire season, but Cold was the one who didn't.
You had things that no one had, like a coin, like a forecast, like the island, like things like that, right?
Hey, you can
That
go
like
for island.
basically, I understand, but you had,
Your bitch ass because your ass off spawn.
Listen,
Why don't you come contest me again? Because you can't beat me off spawn.
Listen.
You're crying about what I had. You conned me and you lost.
Listen, yeah, I understand because you're macroing and my teammate's crying in my ear. He doesn't want to con, but listen.
I think this is honestly just so poetic to where we are actually at today. Now that Acorn has teammates that are very willing to contest Peter, Adrius has been super vocal about wanting to contest him, and Puyo, of course, literally just doesn't care. And Peterbot back then was saying that Acorn was too scared to con him and there was no way he was ever going to beat him. And fast forward to today, that is currently exactly what is going on. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Of course, there is a world where Peterbot, Code, and Ritual just start full grinding these off spawn fights, completely turn things around, and start dominating off spawn versus them. But I just thought this was super cool to look at right now in the current landscape that we are in compared to how it used to be just last year. I think my overall takeaway from this is if you're going to say that Puyo is macroing, you're going to just have to say that Peter is too, because there's no way that one of them is doing it without the other. There is also still a whole nother component of it with the potential of auto pickup. I remember that was originally what Peter said to explain the things like the reclip, was that auto pickup is just so broken when you are 50-50ing a chest off spawn, which I do think that did get proved to be somewhat true, but I don't think it is anywhere near the magnitude that it is actually at today. Let me know what your guys' actual opinions on this are in the comment section down below though. I'm very curious on if you actually think any of these pros macro, or if you think nobody is and it's just skill, I guess. Just let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, I'm not going to go over the entire Aussie Cup or nothing. That is his tournament. That is his content. I'm going to leave all of that to him for his own channel. I just wanted to talk about some of the drama that has been brewing over these past couple of days, give some of my opinions on it, and I'm curious on what you guys think about it as well. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Please just go Kdog in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. YouTube says essentially one of these two videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.